Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God.
We're going to help you understand what triggers are and how to cope with them.
It was just like immediate anger. I just immediately felt angry. And I knew in that moment there was nothing that I could do about it.
Thank God for therapy and growth, because baby,
Is this reaction bigger than the situation? Because it literally could be an emotional response from something that happened years ago.
I tell people all the time, listen, you can't control others, but you can control yourself.
Hey, welcome to the Trigger Happy Hour where we take shots of the truth straight with no chase.
It's your host that do the most, Daquan Darnisha, and get ready as we dive deep, laugh loud, and unpack triggers you've been dodging.
Buckle up, y'all, because healing ain't always pretty.
But it's always real.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Daquan, coming through with some truths with no chase, all right? Let's go ahead and switch up that negative energy and make today work for you. Let's get it popping.
All right. It's your girl, Darnisha, licensed mental health counselor, mommy of two. I like to give it to you straight with no chase, but sometimes I got to put a little sugar on the rim just to make it a little sweet. But either way it go, I'm going to give it to y'all 100 proof true.
All right, so let's go ahead and bring in today's icebreakers, and that's going to be that song that best describes how you feeling. So what is the song choice for you today, girl?
Oh, I got a good one. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay. Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kind of odd. No barking from the dog, no smog. And mama cooking breakfast with no hog. I am having, today was a good day, hunty. I went on a 3-day spiritual retreat this past weekend, got some energy, did a little woo sign, worked on some forgiveness. Man, I am feeling good. And today was a good day.
Yo, I love to hear that. I definitely do. Go ahead with that healing energy. Come on and let go of that baggage, because that's what some people do is hold on to that baggage, and you got to go ahead and forgive some people, because baby, it's not just about them, it's for you.
Period.
That. All
What
right.
about you? So what is your song selection for today? What song best describes your mood?
But girl, I'm tired just because I did a double last night. So I went in at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon and got off at 7 o'clock this morning. So barely got any sleep. But the song that I can say is going to be Outside by Cardi B, just because I'm in that tempo right now because we recorded. This is about to be what? The first episode?
Numero
Come on.
uno.
Number one. So we excited about that, girl. So I'm outside right now because I'm outside. Listen. But yeah, that's what's going on.
So when you said I'm tired, I thought your song was gonna be Truth is I'm tired.
Yeah, I could have went that way, but you know what? I woke up. And some people are not waking up right now. So I'm excited. Just like I said, this is our first one. So let's get it on and popping.
All right. So what about y'all? When you think of a song that's best describing your day, I want y'all to think of a song that can kind of relate to how your day is going. So take a few seconds to think about that and then, yeah, dwell on that. So before we dive in, though, we do just want to give a gentle reminder that this podcast is not a substitution for therapy. Yes, we may be therapists, but we're here to offer support, reflection, and conversation. No clinical treatment whatsoever. If at any point you feel uncomfortable or find yourself feeling triggered by anything we discuss, please take a moment. Practice some grounding skills, deep breathing, pause the episode or step away if you need to, because your emotional safety comes first. And if you're struggling with your mental health, we strongly encourage y'all to reach out to a licensed mental health professional. So let's jump right on into it. We're going to get into it if we're going to get into it. What is today's episode about, Daquan?
I mean, what is the name of this podcast? What's the beginning of it? Triggers? Okay. Because we all get triggered. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about that. I know I got some triggers myself, but you know, we're going to help you understand what triggers are and how to cope with them.
So first, let's define what a trigger is. A trigger is an emotional reaction caused by something in the present moment that reminds your brain of past pain, trauma, insecurities, and it's often unconsciously. It isn't always about what's happening right now. It might be an emotion that's brought up from something that happened in the past. I like to call it a toilet seat moment, right? Where somebody keep leaving the toilet seat up. And it's like you telling a person, okay, I need you to put the toilet seat down, but they keep leaving it up. I'm not mad at the fact that you forgot and left the toilet seat up one time, but I get angry and I get mad because I have asked you several times not to leave the toilet seat up, but you continuously do it. So now I'm feeling disrespected. And it's that feeling of disrespect that takes me back to a time in my life when I was practically begging to be seen or heard, but my
Mm.
requests were unheard and disregarded. So I call my triggers toilet seat moments. That's just a term that I use for that.
Ooh, that was good. I like that. I can definitely see how leaving the toilet seat could be a trigger, especially if, late in the night, turn on the light and you just go happen to sit down.
Bloop! Splash
Ah,
water for
it's Splash Town and ain't the one we wanted either.
It ain't.
Oh my goodness. And I like the term that toilet seat moment because that is a trigger. Okay. So let's be transparent with something else that can trigger you.
So when it comes to being around alcohol, I can be around people that drink or whatever. I'll have an occasional drink, but it's the slurred speech that gets to me. When somebody is drinking and then that speech starts becoming slurred. Oh my God, I was on the phone with somebody had called me and I answered and I could hear it. And I'm like, all right, I gotta go because I knew that was gonna take me back to a place that caused me pain in the past. And the pain didn't come because of the slurred speech. But I associate drunkenness with somebody's speech being slurred and something terrible happened.
Mhm.
So if I walk into an environment or a situation and it's drinking involved and then I start hearing that slurred speech, I exit stage left, get out of there because it's immediately triggering for me.
So about the slurred speech, I know you mentioned that you associated with something always negative happens. Can you go elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so okay, there's been a couple of circumstances where somebody around me was drunk and then there was just some things that happened to me personally that made me uncomfortable without divulging too much. There have been situations with people that I have been involved with intimately. There have been situations with family members. And so I just don't like to be around it because it takes me back to that place. And I didn't even recognize it until recently, maybe about a year or so ago, when I recognized my body just feels so uncomfortable and so tense when I hear that. And I
Mhm.
and recently I even was on the phone with someone and I took it back to when Dame Dash was on the Breakfast Club and he told Charlamagne, "You're triggering me. Listen, you're triggering me. I'm about to hang up." And they probably had no clue what I was talking about. But in that moment, I heard that slurring. I'm like, yeah, let me get off of here real quick.
How could you have handled that a better way so that person would be left in the dark?
That's a good question. Let me think about that because when it comes to my peace of mind, I
Mhm.
really don't care a better way of handling it
Okay.
because all I could think to do in that moment was to say, "Hey, I'm feeling triggered." Or maybe I could have said something in lieu of I'm being triggered. I could have just been like, "Hey, I'm going to talk to you in the morning," or something like that. In that moment, though, it was just important for me to
Mhm.
protect my peace. So in that moment, I decided to say, "You're triggering me right now."
Now, does that person also know how you are with the slurring of speeches? So
No.
you see where I was trying to get at. I'm talking about communication.
Right, right. That person knows how I feel about the drinking, though. I will say that. That's crystal clear. The person knows how I feel about that because it's to the point where I won't even go out and have a drink with them.
Okay.
So, yeah.
No, okay. No, I definitely hear that and I respect that because one thing I want to recognize and is that you told that person, hold up, I'm being triggered right now. So in order for us not to go left field, I'm gonna exit stage right.
Right. I mean, thinking when you mentioned it though, I could have handled that differently. I could have. In that moment, I just felt my body response
Uh-huh.
doing something that made me uncomfortable. So So yeah, but definitely I could have handled that differently. I could have said something more assertive.
I mean, but listen, that just shows you what? That you're human as well. And we still got some growing to do. So if you didn't know, hey, now you recognize it and you're aware, you know what? Next time, let me go ahead and not be so abrupt. Hey, let's pick this up tomorrow. You don't even have to go, explain to them right then and there what's going on, but just say, hey, I can tell you about it more so tomorrow. So that way you're in a better mind space and a mind frame when you're talking to that person instead of, now you know that you should not be on this phone talking to me because you know how I don't stuff. You know what I'm saying? No snapping. So you was trying to be the bigger person. So I do commend you on that.
Yeah, because back in the day I would have, and this person know that I normally would be like, "Hey," but I was trying to be more calm, but I guess it still was a little aggressive. So that's definitely something I got to work on.
Uh,
But what about you? What's some triggers for you?
oh, girl, I was trying to, while we was sitting here talking, I was trying to see which one do I want to discuss because I have a couple. I guess one thing I would say that triggers me is don't tell me I said something knowing that I didn't say it. Or don't try to put words in my mouth. Now, I didn't say that. Don't try to project onto me how you're feeling. Trust me, you will know. If I got something to say, I would say it. If it's irritating me or whatever, whatever. I'm not gonna pussyfoot, sugarcoat none. Straight to you, no chase. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I said, don't try to put words in my mouth. I think it came Maryland, 2017. Okay, let's go back there. So yeah, that's one of my triggers. Trust and believe. I'm a grown man and I can clearly stand 10 toes down on what I firmly said and not double.
So what you saying is you don't like for somebody to misinterpret what you're conveying, and basically it sounds like they might turn it or take it to a whole different direction than where you were going. So you're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
well, if I wanted to say that, then I would have just came out and said that." Communication is two-sided, right? So
Right.
is it a possibility that you could be saying something and they misinterpret it another way? Or do you think that it's intentional misinterpretation?
I don't think it was intentional. I think that's probably exactly how they took it. But for me, I think it's for me, I'm like, if you didn't understand, then ask for clarity. You know what I'm saying? So I hear you saying this. Did you mean this? But I know sometimes, especially when we're in a heated argument or in a heated debate, that's not going to happen because we're too much in our emotions at that moment.
Right. So at what time did you first notice that this was triggering for you? And or when did it first become a problem for you when somebody misinterpreted what you were trying to convey? Oh, you said Maryland.
When I was married, girl, let's go ahead and put it out there like that. When I was married, okay, I would say, matter of fact, repeat what I just said. And I'm not trying to be a smartass because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So I know I will have to work on my tone, but I'm going to ask, so what did you hear me say? Can you repeat what I said so that way I can understand if you understand where I was coming from? Because I know sometimes I can't be as clear. I have my issues of not being clear on what I want to say. It is kind of hard for me sometimes, but
Yeah.
I've been working on it.
Okay. Because it is a way of saying, well, what did you hear me say versus saying, now what I say? Because now you
Uh-huh.
sound like somebody's daddy. And no adult wants to feel like
Yeah.
a child, like they're
Yeah.
being questioned like a child. So, did you understand what I was trying to say, or can you let me know what you heard? Okay, so now we're going to talk about the psychology behind triggers. Let's
Mhm.
talk science for a little bit. When you're triggered, there's a part of your brain that detects threat and it lights up. It's like an alarm system that doesn't know the difference between real danger and an emotional memory. This just means your body reacts first, and you might have a racing heartbeat, a tight chest. You might even feel angry before your rational brain can even catch up to that emotion that's going on in your body.
Yep. And that's why people say you can go from 0 to 100. It's a survival response. You're not crazy. It's your nervous system. Literally, it's your nervous system. As Darnisha had said, when she heard that slurred speech, automatically she got triggered. What was that response time that you felt Was your heart racing? Did your jaw clench when you heard that person?
It was just immediate anger. I just immediately felt angry. And I knew in that moment there was nothing that I could do about it. That's why I immediately tried to get off the phone. But like I just said, your brain hasn't even caught up to what just happened yet. It
Mhm.
hasn't caught up to that emotional response.
It because again, that goes back to it's your nervous system trying to protect you, right? The triggers can activate fight, flight, or freeze or fawn responses. I think fight or flight responses are pretty self-explanatory. So I do want to describe the fawn and freeze responses.
Okay, so when it comes to freeze, it's literally the word freeze. You do absolutely nothing. You shut down. So when you triggered by something, okay, let's just say, for example, when I was on the phone with that particular person and I heard the slurred speech, a freeze
Mm.
example of that would be not even engaging anymore in the conversation or giving closed-ended responses like, man, that's crazy. Okay. You know, I'm not even responding to the conversation anymore because my body went into freeze mode because I was triggered. And then
Yeah.
the best example I can give of a fawn response is let's just say, and I know this is extreme, but a person was kidnapped, right? And they immediately go into that pleasure seeking behavior. Like they don't try to fight it. They don't try to run away. They're just, okay, well, whatever you want me to do.
Yeah.
They go into survival mode. It's like, what do you need me to do in order to make the situation safe? Do you have another example of fun? That's the best one I could come up with.
I mean, going off of that, and when you said just basically getting kidnapped, right?
Mhm.
Works funny because it went automatically to the episode. I don't know if you watched The Shy, right? It was
Mhm.
when she had got kidnapped. The girl had got kidnapped and she was in the basement, even though she had the typical survivor sense, right? Fight or flight, fighting for my life, doing all this. Then she had a freeze moment. And then she had the fawn moment where, okay, what can I do to make you happy? You're now being conditioned to, like you said, you're being in that survival mode. So now you're trying to make light of the situation as best as you can because again, you're trying to survive. So that nervous system is kicking into overdrive. If the fight or flight already happened and it was a negative go, you know what I'm saying? You're going to freeze. So all those things definitely come into play.
Right. Exactly. Thank you for that explanation because that's like the best thing I could come up with. All right. And then there's like a lot of examples of like different types of triggers. We got emotional triggers, which is pretty much linked to past hurt, feeling rejected when someone takes too long to text back. That's an emotional response. Situational. That's a place or an event. That's being in a certain, okay, when I go visit my hometown, I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. Shout out Sag Nasty, but I'm from Saginaw, Michigan, right? So when I go to a certain part of town, I immediately become saddened
Mm.
because it reminds me of certain events or it reminds me of certain people. Or going to a hospital, visiting a hospital, and you was there when somebody close to you passed away. That's a situational trigger. A
Yeah.
sensory trigger might be a sound or a smell. Do you have any sensory triggers? Certain sounds or smells that trigger you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me think as far as a sound or a smell. If I'm going to a smell, no, matter of fact, a sound. Oh my God, yes. If when I go to a sound, one thing that used to annoy me is my great grandmother used to click her nail, like the baby. Every time I hear that, I automatically hone in on that. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care if there's a lot of things happening in the background. My ear is gonna pick up on that clicking of the nail because it irritates my soul. It's like a nail on a chalkboard. It's just the screeching. For example, my babe does that, right? And so he tries to be slick and try to be under the covers and click his nail. And I said, "What you doing over there?" Automatically, he stops, smiles, and said, "You get on my nerve." I said, "I told you that is annoying to me. I can hone in on that." And then before I jump to a conclusion, I looked at the cover to see if the hand movement was going to confirm before I even said anything because I didn't want to be all the way wrong. So I had to make sure. I said, "Now I know I heard something." And I looked over there and see that cover going over there and the hand move. I said, "What are you doing?" And automatically
So what is your body feeling like in that moment when he's doing that? What happens? What's your emotional response?
My emotional response, I instantly get irritated, but
Mm.
it's a slight irritation compared to an irritation like you just punched me or something. You know what I'm saying? It's just a mild irritation, but automatically because that was just something that my great grandmother used to do all the time. Either that or her humming.
Another example too of a sound is a song. A song that could come on the radio and it take you back to a bad time or a
Oh,
bad space. So yeah, sounds, the smell of alcohol, just smell of mothballs could remind you of something.
glad you said something. And this can go into I don't listen to a specific song, and that's Biggie Smalls' "Suicidal Thoughts," because that during that time now I can listen to that album front to back, but that song would not be on my playlist just because that triggered something in me when I was going through my dark moments. I remember one time I was literally having suicidal ideation during that time, and that was because I was playing that song over and over just to try to kinda get the courage. I'm saying, so that was one song that I would not listen to, even though I like the song and Biggie is my dope artist, whatever, but just the meaning behind it for me is it puts me in a bad space.
It's so important to just be mindful of things like that. Mindful of your triggers, your sensory triggers, situational triggers, emotional triggers. Because once you're mindful of them and you're aware of them, you'll know what to do or you'll know how to navigate away from 'em. Oh no, this song, soon as this song come on, my body just feel a little tense or I get sad. So yeah, let me skip past this song. So on top of the emotional, situational, the sensory, we have relational triggers which are like specific dynamics. So somebody raising a voice will remind you of old conflict, like somebody who parent used to tell them to shut up. So when somebody tells them to shut up, it's triggering for them. And it could be a playful, girl, shut up.
Mm.
But it takes them back to when their parents used to say it. And so that's triggering for them. Or then there's internal triggers, which are like thoughts or fears, and you feel like you're not good enough. And so what happens is as soon as somebody criticize you, you start having that internal fear of, oh my God, I'm not good enough. I'm going to lose my job or this person is going to leave me. So there are so many different triggers that you have to be aware of.
Definitely do. You definitely do. Even internal thoughts or fears. I'm not good enough. I know we all had that I'm not good enough moment. I know I can say I had that at one point of not feeling good enough. I would never want to go back to that. Thank God for therapy and growth. Because baby, when I was back in those dark days, I would say, those dark
Mhm.
days. At one point I couldn't see I didn't think I would be able to ever see the light. Until now, look at the light shine.
Light just shine and come on.
You know? Look, you see is shining off this head too.
I definitely see my reflection in your baldness.
Okay, come on. Just
You
don't
look
rub
good
my
though. Come on, little peanut. Come on now.
I'm glad my mom shaped my hair right. Oh,
You
child.
got a nice head.
She
Really nice and round.
she did a nice job. Nice job. Shout out to my mother. Hey, ma.
Shout out. What's up, Ma? What up,
Hey.
Ma Duke?
So that's gonna jump into our next segment, and that's going to be how to identify your triggers. Try asking yourself these things. What happens right before I react? What emotions came up quickly and intensely? Did this remind me of something from the past? Does this reaction feel bigger than the situation?
And that's a big one. Does this reaction feel bigger than the situation? And what we mean by that was my response. Was that response warranted for what happened? So back to Daquan getting upset about the finger thing, right? So what if he just would have spazzed out on his boo because of the finger tapping? So it's important to ask yourself these questions. Well, what was happening before I reacted this way? What emotion do I feel? Do this remind me of something? And is this reaction bigger than the situation? Because it literally could be an emotional response from something that happened years ago,
Yeah.
but it's just reminding you of what happened. But you're not actually extremely upset about what's happening right now, but it's a reminder of an emotion that happened way back when. So we taught y'all what a trigger was. We talked about how to identify your triggers. We gave y'all some different examples of what triggers consisted of. So let's talk about how can we manage these triggers.
The first step is to what? It's the awareness part. Okay. We need to be aware. You
Mhm.
can't regulate what you don't recognize. Start noticing when you feel internal shifts, the tightness, the heat, the urge to shut down or lash out. Now, I have to be honest. I'm quick to shut down, but I'm working on that. I'm working on that.
So you go into freeze mode then. So your
Mhm,
emotional response, you go into that freeze mode. We talked about flight, fight, freeze, and fawn. So okay, you freeze. Okay.
mhm. Because it's for me, I don't like conflict. So you got it. It's all right. Let's not even you got it. Because I know my response is gonna be way bigger if I keep going, going, going. So you got it. My fight or flight will kick in after a while because let's go ahead and freeze this right quick because I don't want to go into that was let me clarify. That was the old one. I'm getting better with that because as we are getting older, we want to be able to communicate. And I think a lot of us are afraid of that conflict, of having those hard conversations. So that's one thing. The next one is step 2 is take a pause. Okay? Seriously, just stop and breathe. You might not be able to control the trigger, but you can control your reaction. I I tell people all the time, listen, you can't control others, but you can control yourself. So don't allow them to take you out of character for them to warrant those responses. So one skill that you can have is my favorite ground. One of them is the grounding technique. It's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 ground. Right? Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, so the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it taps into all your senses. So you want to identify 5 things you can see, and you want to take your time in doing it. Don't rush through the process because the process is it's a grounding skill, it's to
Hmm.
be in the present moment. So 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And it literally does not have to be in that order, but just know 5 senses. Just identify 5 things, 4 things, 3 things, 2 things, 1 things. And what that does is whatever it was that was triggering you, whatever your mind was on, it shifts that away and it puts you into the present moment.
Yes. Yes, I like that, the sensory technique. That's a great way to, like you said, ground yourself, center yourself, because it's taking you out of those thoughts, that anxiety, whatever is going on at the moment, and it makes you focus on yes, sensories. The next thing for me is my favorite.
Time out. Cause why are you sounding like Midnight Love? This is Daquan coming from the Midnight Love. I just want to put on your favorite slow jams. Your voice is shifting.
It's the first episode. You gotta see my personality.
Midnight Love. Oh, Barry Whitehead.
You know, I was always told I had a good radio voice, girl.
You do got a good
You
radio
know,
voice.
welcome to KTV at 9. On tonight's hits, we got DJ Academics acting a fool.
You don't go somewhere.
All right, let me run that back. All right. So the next thing that I like actually is the deep breathing. And just slowly inhale, hold it in for a little while and just let it out. Let it out. Again, it's taking you out of that frightened moment, that fight or flight moment and grounding you because now you're trying to focus on your breathing. The next thing you can say is saying, I am safe right now. You want to kind of explain that a little bit?
Yes, I am safe right now. Because again, our body have those emotional responses, but they're artificial. Because yes, what's happening right now reminded me of something that may have caused harm in the past, but is it causing me harm right now? Am I in harm's way right now? So sometimes you have to remind yourself, I am safe right now. And an example of that would be, let's just say you were in a DV relationship in the past, right? So when a person slammed a door, you knew that man, this person just came in slamming doors. I'm about to get attacked because that's a indicator that they're angry and it's about to go down. So let's just say your child, I have a teenage son, he slams the car door. Is he about to attack me just because he slammed the car door? So you have to remind yourself, okay, Darnisha, I'm safe right now.
Right. I like that explanation. The next step is taking a pause. Let's take a pause. Is this trigger warranting for that biggest response? So let me go ahead and take a pause. Let me think about it for a second because, like you said, if it was the clicking of the nails, is it that much of an issue that I gotta blow up, go from 0 to 100 because now I told you to stop doing that. Da, da, da.
Mhm.
It's not that serious. So let me just take a pause because pick your battle. That's what I like to say. Pick your battles. Is this something that you want to fight? Is this something that is warranted for this response that you're about to give? Let's take, and it's easier said than done. Let's go ahead and put that out there right now. We're saying these things right now like it's easy, but we all know we're human. It takes practice, but you have to put these into a practice and put a conscious effort to make these things happen to get out of that old space that you no longer want to be in. If you can recognize your triggers, that's what we're trying to give y'all the definitions and break that down so you guys are more aware and self aware for you. So let's take a pause. Let's take a pause. All right. So after taking a pause, the next thing is communicating. That hits something for me. Can we slow down?
So back to the communication part, that hit something for me. Can we slow down? So an example of that, I do a lot of couples therapy and I love having couples create what I call going into safe mode. When things get heated, one partner can say, I need a moment to rest. I need a moment to reset, or they can both create a safe word and agree to take a short break. That's a game changer because it's not about avoiding a conflict. It's about keeping safety in the room. So, in order for us to keep safety in the room, somebody is going to have to communicate. There's going to have to be some communicating going on where somebody says, "Hey, you know what? I'm a little triggered. That hit something for me. I can't really explain it right now. So, can we just take a break and slow down?" So, here's something you can try. When that happened, I felt triggered because it reminded me of something that hurt. I know you may not have meant it that way, but I just need a moment. So it's important to kind of validate how you feel, accept responsibility for your feelings instead of, hey, you made me feel or you did this because that may not have been the intention. So a better way to say it is, hey, when that happened, you know what? I felt a little triggered and
Uh-huh.
it hurt me a little bit because it reminded me of something. And I know you may have not meant it that way, but can you just give me some time to just sit down for a little while, cool off a little while?
And see, that's what I like. That's what I tell people all the time, right? Is when we are communicating with friends, family, partner, lover, whatever, we have to be in a safe environment for both parties to feel safe in order to have that open dialogue conversation. Like you said, when it's getting to that heated, whoa, let's take it. That triggers something for me. Can
Hmm.
we, baby, can we come back in the next 30 minutes after we just both calm down so, we can be level headed and allowing you to regroup so that way you can come back and have a clear head when you come in this safe environment. So, with that being said, the final thoughts triggers aren't the enemy, they're information. They tell us where healing still needs to happen. Hoo, hoo, hoo. And when we say that, baby, I can attest to that. Quick thing. Last year, I realized that I wasn't as healed as I needed to be because
Hmm.
things were still triggering me from an old person. And so where I'm thinking that I have grown, I have gotten better, I have gotten better, but I also see that there's still some improvements that I have to do and to work on myself. So I do like that part that the trigger it gives you information about yourself. You're more self-aware about yourself, about recognizing, okay, so this triggered me. That's still an issue for me. I thought I handled that. I thought I dealt with that, but it looks like I need to go back and do some more work. And it's okay. And it's okay. Don't ever think that you failed because baby, you're still growing. You're still healing. People, I want you to understand Healing is not a overnight thing. It can take months. It can take years. It just
Mm-hmm.
depends on how you move. And it's okay for you to move at your space, at your pace. And don't allow nobody to bully you and tell you to hurry up and you need to heal because you can't rush healing on nobody.
Mm-mm.
You
And
cannot.
your experience is not their experience.
Exactly.
Your experience is not their experience.
Exactly. Say it one more time.
Your experience is not their experience. They
Mhm.
cannot tell you how to heal because they do not know the effect that it had on you.
They definitely don't. So, with that being not said, DD, you want to go ahead and bring us out?
Not what you calling me, Dee.
Heard. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we know we threw a lot at y'all. We talked about what a trigger was. We gave y'all a few examples. We talked about the different types of triggers, the emotional, situational, sensory, relational, and internal triggers. We talked about how we can identify your triggers, noticing what happened before you reacted, what emotion came up. Did this remind me of something in my past? And does this reaction feel bigger than the situation? Am I overreacting to something like this? We also gave y'all some cool techniques on how you can manage these triggers. We talked about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep breathing, making sure or validating the fact that you're in a safe space right now, taking a break and communicating when you're feeling some type of way. Hey, you know what? I feel some type of way. I might need to take a break real quick. So we know triggers, sometimes they come and we don't know when they coming. We don't know. We do not. What Deion Sanders say? We coming. Them triggers, they coming.
They coming
They
hard.
coming.
Real
They
hard.
coming hard. And they just hit you. And they hit you. And you don't know when, you don't know where, but you do know what your emotional response is like. And there is a way that you can manage them when they do come. All right. So we hope y'all enjoyed that part of it. But we got another segment we gonna give y'all called our Q&A segment. And this is the time where we get questions from our audience members, families, and friends. And then they just give us some questions that they want us to answer. So here we go.
It's time for the Q&A. It's time for the Q&A. It's time for the Q&A. It's time for the Q&A.
All right. Yes. So, Daquan, what's that good Q&A question for us today?
Okay, so it looks like it's coming from Jessica from Greensboro, North Carolina.
What up, Jess?
Come
What up,
on.
Jess?
Come on, North Carolina out there in Greensboro. Isn't that where the A&T is at? Okay. So, A&T,
Okay.
the HBCU. Oh, okay.
Sorry. I went to Michigan State.
Maybe they gonna come after you.
I know, right?
Shout out to Gio.
A&T.
Yeah.
A&T.
Okay, girl.
I'm
Going
sorry,
back to Jessica. Okay. She says, me and my friend have been friends for over 15 years. We met in high school. I love her to death, but she still likes to go out and party and engage in things that l- I no longer like to do. I feel like I have outgrown her.
Okay. So it sounds like Jessica and her friends have been friends for over 15 years, met in high school, besties, I'm assuming. And her friend is still engaging in some things that Jessica doesn't necessarily participate in anymore. And so she's kind of feel like she's outgrowing that friendship. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Very.
that is okay because that's what happens in life. You know, we don't expect to be in the same place that we were 15 years ago or even last year. Growth does occur, growth does happen. So it's okay. And it's also okay for you to feel as if you are outgrowing that friendship.
Mhm.
Now, I do want to add too, though, just because you're not interested in the same things does not mean, or that you've outgrown certain things, that does not mean that that friend can no longer serve a purpose in your life. Because you know, you might have a different group of friends. Oh, this friend group I travel with, I go places with. This friend I like to call for advice. This friend I like to pray with. Different, if there's no toxic relationship, friendship between the two of you, there's no reason why, in my opinion, that you can't still be friends. But some places she just might not be able to go with you.
And that, as you stated, that is definitely fine. I go back to Tyler Perry when he had said, and one of the Medea plays, that, people are in your life for a time and a season. And it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. Some people are leaves, some people are branches, some people are roots. And that really hits hard. And again, it doesn't mean that there's no love there. It doesn't mean that what you once had doesn't mean anything. It just means that we outgrow each other, and that's fine. Because if we look at it, as you stated, we're not the same as we were a year ago. Why do you think people renew their vows? Because they renew them because they are no longer married to that exact same person that they first got married to. So they're renewing their vows. Every 5 years, we change. Every year, we change. We're no longer that same person that we once were. There's no love lost. Again, just because y'all have outgrown this right now, don't mean that y'all don't have no other hobbies out that y'all can try to find to do something together. If it's that, you know what I'm saying? Especially if y'all are being besties since for 15 years. It's okay. I still talk to people back from my high school days. I hit up my girl Fifi all the time when I get a chance. So, and she's not the same as when we was in high school, but
Mm-hmm.
our interests change. Our love doesn't change. It's
Right.
not, as you said, as long as it's not a toxic relationship, then baby, I can work things out. And y'all don't have to be up under each other 24/7. Again, in this situation, especially if somebody has kids, Jessica, if you have kids and your bestie don't,
Mm-hmm.
she's definitely gonna be still going, baby, she outside. She is outside because she ain't got no responsibilities other than paying her bills and keeping roof over her head.
Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head too. I've talked to you about this before where I feel like I don't have a lot of friends that can understand what I go through being a mom of a special needs child. So I have to connect with other people that can. That doesn't mean I don't love my friends that don't, but it just means that my life look a little bit different cuz I
Right.
can't move like y'all because my child is a priority for
Mhm.
me. So, good question, Jessica. We hope we gave you some kind of guidance or help with that situation.
So yeah, definitely. If you guys want to send in questions, if you have any questions that you want us to answer, you can go ahead and DM us at Trigger Happy Hour on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We on all three, baby. Send your questions in because baby, we love to answer some questions. Okay.
All right, and we got one more thing for y'all. We like to end y'all with the affirmation of the day and the action for the day. Daquan, what you got?
Today's affirmation is I trust my abilities to succeed. Let me say it again. I trust in my abilities to succeed. I'm going to say it one more
Amen to that.
time. I got to say it one more time. There's something about that third time. I trust in my abilities to succeed.
I trust in my abilities to succeed.
That hit. Now, I don't know why. That just really hit. I had to say it 3 times. And then that good old action for today, treat yourself to a self-care day.
Mm.
Because
Come on now.
we don't do that. We don't treat ourselves. And sometimes we forget how to treat ourselves. So go out there and treat yourself to a self-care day. Either it's going to get you a mani-pedi, go to your little spa day, or man, go out to the park and sit outside and read you a nice little book. Do something that is a self-care day. Okay?
So we'd like to thank y'all for joining us today. This was our very first episode. We hope y'all enjoyed it. If so, go like and follow our pages. We are on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Join us next week, same time, same station, with a different topic. As Daquan said, send in those questions. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Peace.
Peace. And that's a wrap for this round of Trigger Happy Hour, where we take shots of the truth with no chaser. Just broad conversations where the shots are sharp and the takes are sharper, and nothing gets off the table. If you like what you heard, hit that follow button, leave a review, and tell someone who can handle the heat. Pull up a bar stool next week for more real talk. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until then, stay bold, stay loud, and don't water it down. Cheers.